Hello everyone, welcome back to Chaosville with Bedmon Inc, and today we are back here at the Night of the Living Dead build, where we've got two things to work on. The first, and most new to me at the very least, is tree breeding. So we're building together a quick setup to try and get some trees breeding together quite nicely, and we're also going to start work on the basement, which is the only room that we haven't built yet. And once we've got all of the different rooms built, we'll be then decorating them and making them look suitable to their purpose, as it were. I have a slight clue as to why you are seeing me in such low frames at the moment. The first part being that I've got two FTP clients open. But the second idea I have is graphics. Because I installed 1.5.1, and in vanilla Minecraft, that has a huge, as far as I'm concerned, FPS boost. But the moment I try to record in Fraps, it dips down to the levels that we're more accustomed to of late. And I've tried checking the drivers, and I've tried DxTory, which refuses to acknowledge FTP or regular Minecraft at all. Basically, it looks like if I'm going to get any new frames, there is no quick and... oh dear. You can't see that, but I've just got the chat logo. Oh, shy lady. Anyway, but yeah, there's no quick and easy thing. I am using Optifine, I have reduced the render distance, I have turned off any unnecessary animations and such, but alas, new computer seems to be the only answer to my FPS problem. So just saying that now, because I know there'll be a dozen people in the comments talking about it. I'm not going to institute a block policy for people who talk about the FPS, but please be advised that I am aware of it and it has already been heavily discussed. But let's get on to something a bit more interesting, shall we? So, without further ado, hop into my eyes and we shall get to work with some trees. Okay, so, as I understand it, tree breeding requires that we have two trees of different kinds next to one another, with an active apiary in between them. An apiary is part of forestry, it's for breeding bees and such, which is why I've got a couple here that I've already taken a look at. I haven't shown much of my bee breeding on camera. I'll be doing that at a later time because we're going to need it quite a bit, especially to get redstone. But here we have the treealyzer, which is sort of the true equivalent of the beealyzer, which is what you add honey drops to, and it tells you all these details that we can see, like flowers, shorter life and such. And I've done that with these. And our first thing we're going to do is start combining silver birch, which is just the bulk standard Minecraft birch tree, and apple oak, which is again the bulk standard oak tree. So we're going to plant one of these each next to one another, and we're going to set up a sort of an automated apiary with these resilient frames. These are from Farmcraft, and they last for quite a long time before they break, which is why we're using them. And let's see. The apiarist's pipe is something that you get later on when you're fiddling with bees again. And we shouldn't get anything else from here, so let's leave that for now. And let's set this up outside with all the other trees, so we can actually see it. I don't think this will affect our acacia trees, but who knows, who knows. And oh joy, got a nice little guest over there. Let's get a reasonably sized space. Let's just go over here, shall we? Okay, so the way this is going to work is that we need the wooden pipe constantly trying to pump out of the apiary, so let's get that on the bottom. Our apiary is going to have our bees in it. And she's been shot again. She's not having a good night, this shadow lady, is she? Okay, let's get that running. There's nothing in there to pump out right now, but there will be later. And then we're going to need the apiarist pipe. And some stone transport pipe. The apiarist pipe is sort of like a diamond pipe. We can tell it to issue anything we want. So, any bees goes into, along the green channel as we can see, into the apiary. So that means once everything in there, once the queen dies and gives out all the items and such, she'll try and plug everything in, and then anything goes into green. Not just any items, because it also includes excess bees. Okay, and then we should add our frames. Good lord, what is happening to her? Inject our drone into our princess, and that will give us a queen. And she's not detecting any flowers at the moment, but that's kind of okay. As long as she can survive in this environment, and she should do, because she's a fairly standard kind of bee. She also has a fairly quick breed cycle. And yeah, we can see the bee particles running around, which are creepy when they hit you up in the face, I have to say. Yeah, normal, 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 normal. So that's a pure strain, which means it'll keep those same kinds of traits for a while. So we should just see this continue to run pretty much indefinitely, at least until these frames give out. But then these trees, these need to be close to one another. Well, I guess we'll find out later. Anyways, let's just leave those, because we need to wait for those trees to grow and then ostensibly cross-pollinate. I don't know how... I'm mildly worried now that I've got these too far apart, so let's move these a tad closer to one another. 2 blocks out from our apiary. In theory, we could probably automate this, but we're just getting started today, so we don't really know much about it. And this is legitimately a mod about which that I know very little. It's another piece of forestry, which is part of Sir Sengir's list of mods. Sir Sengir, for whom I have not exactly animosity for, but not exactly a great deal of compassion. Shot by skeleton, blew up. Shot by skeleton, blew up. Slain by spider. Where are you? That sounds like you walked into the mob carnival or something. I don't know. Oh yes, one thing I realized. Anyway, one thing I realized is that I may have these 2 doors, the one that I marked for going down to the stairs going down to the basement, and the cupboard may be backwards, because all of the fan layouts of the building I've managed to find say that here's the doorway to the staircase that goes down to the actual basement. But reviewing the footage, when Ben is banging on the door to get down to the basement, there is a door to his left. The door he's banging on is attached to a longer wall like this, and when it finally opens, there's like a small placement, and then it goes straight down. Now that may be me getting the 1990 version of... Oh, poor LD. That may be me getting the 1990 version and the original version mixed up, but that may be worth looking into later. I can't recall specifically right now how it looks inside the original movie. But there is a lot of yelling and shouting at the door, so hopefully. But yeah, I got a little bit of this done. I've got my wand of interior design, so I did a bit of this without having to mine it all out. And I don't actually know how big the basement is. It's a lot more of a sedate industrial kind of location as opposed to a homely kind of place. It's a place for storage that you don't go to very often. It's full of cobwebs and spiders and the Christmas tree lights and stuff. So it's got the free floor. It's got the 3 blocks high as opposed to the 4 that we're using out here. But I don't actually know how big it is. I know it extends this way a bit more, and it definitely extends this way quite a bit, and probably a bit more this way. But the actual layout of the basement level isn't quite so clear. We know that there's one fairly open room, one fairly large open room, where there's the table that Cooper's daughter is on, for most of the movie, until she decides to wake up as a zombie and kill everyone, by stabbing her mother, who apparently is the inventor of Auto-Tune. in the throat with a trowel. But yeah, we know. Oops, did not mean to hit that. No, just cover that up for now. We're gonna be. You can see here I've got this layer of cobblestone. That's just kind of like support, and then up here where all the grass is, we're going to be replacing with an actual carpet material. And usually when I run down those stairs, I take damage because my boots make me run fast enough to actually leave the ground. Yeah, as it happens, it is bitterly cold around here at the moment. My thinking may be a little bit slow for that purpose. I've had my heater on next to me full blast for over a day now. It's usually on a timer, but I've taken it off that because it just wasn't sufficient. And it's not actually gotten hot in the room. In fact, if anything, it's gotten colder. You can imagine that's not exactly a pleasant thing, but to show you how this works, that's currently set to the acacia planks, and so it means if I have any acacia planks in my inventory and I click something, it'll try and switch the two out. But if I shift and right-click with the wand of interior design on the cobblestone, I will get the cobblestone, and I have 17 cobblestone in my inventory. Now I have 16. That's basically how the wand of equal trade works. You have to have it in your inventory for it to trade it out. But it's also effectively an instant mining tool as far as a lot of ores are considered. Because it doesn't actually give you, like, if I did it with the stone, I wouldn't get stone back, I'd get cobblestone. But you can use other things too. You can use enchantments to improve that, I think. So let's see, how far do we want this to get pushed out? Well, I think a few more, maybe 3-4 blocks this way. And just as with the basement of Carpenter Station, I really don't have very specific measurements on this one. So, kind of, I'm getting a bit of lag on the server tonight as well. That's not just me getting low FPS, I'm getting a bit of lag. And perhaps we'll pay Miss Shadow Lady a bit of a visit later, to cheer her up after that abominable mining trip. Nothing too expensive, of course. I'm trying not to break the server economy. We'll just, like, drop her a bit of redstone and some rubber, probably. Because we have plenty of both, really. Well, I say that. Ooh, copper! Saying that, copper we're actually low on, so... Or at least, it turns out it's better for us to have copper in ore form, because a lot of the things we have to make require bronze. Whereas I dusted and smelted all of my copper when I was acquiring it, so that's kind of a problem. That's the sound of a rather agitated horse outside, isn't it? But I've still got my automated neutral magazine manufacturing plant going. And how does this look? I'm picking up at least one more block, maybe two. We obviously don't want to exit the underside of the house itself, but we want this to be a reasonably large area. Because, as I say, there isn't much of a known floor plan of it. We can infer some things, we know a few things about it. We know it must have some supports, or else the house would come down upon it. But there's also a point near the end of the movie where Mrs. Cooper is looking for her daughter and goes into what would seemingly be a back area of the basement, and there's like a lot of shadows, and it's hard to see a lot of things. It's hard to see a lot of things in general in the original Night of the Living Dead movie, but yeah, she managed to find this area that looks significantly more shaped deliberately than the rest of the basement. And I don't know if that was shot in the same place. Although, I have heard some interesting news, which is that one of our number, by which I mean the Forgetfuls, our fans, dear viewers, dear readers, all that, may have located the original site of the main facade, the main building of the farmhouse, which of course was scheduled for demolition so they could do whatever they liked to it, and then of course it got demolished, so no one's really been able to find it. But one of our fans may have been able to. I wasn't able to find any conclusive statements inside of my research for this whole build, but one of our fans may have found it. And it's near a river. It's apparently now a peat farm of some kind, but it's near a river whose name I cannot for the life of me recall and barely pronounce at the best of times. But is near Pennsylvania, which makes a deal of sense because George Romero films a lot of things near Pennsylvania. It's his hometown, and he likes to get it in more videos, in more films and such. Oh, and a piece of amber. Aside from the potential, that may be... that's either forestry or farmcraft, because I know it has some useful farmcraft aspects, but it's and I also know it's made by bees, or the right kind of bees, but amber, it seems, doesn't actually have much of a use. In fact, we can have a look at that now. Amber drop goes in, and amber comb, yeah, you can use it to make amber. Chamber, I think that's for. Yeah, Thaumaturge's backpack, amber block, it's probably farmcraft then. And it's, yeah, some useful things, not things you can't really get from anywhere else, but there it is. Anyways, getting back to the heat, it's, according to my desktop widget, it's presently 1 degree outside. And it is also covered in snow outside. It's also a gale. It has been a gale for like the past 2 or 3 days, and I've had the heater on for the past 2 or 3 days as a consequence. Just because the heat is getting bled from the house, like the atmosphere of Mars is stripped away by the sun. My goodness, it is noisy down up there, isn't it? Half a mind to go out and check out what's going on, because it is quite noisy. Hi there. Just being careful there, because I didn't check the other side to see if there were creepers. Whoa. Shouldn't you be dead by now? It's dawn. You should be dead by dawn. Whoop. Oh sure, then you figure you're fine. Oh yes, has one of our trees grown? No, but have we also had any spiny skeletons drop around here? So we can pick up some bones. A wolf at the window. Jeez. Whoa! Whoop, and yeah, he's an angry wolf too. Where the hell did you... how did you manage to go behind me like that? That was strange. Oh, and some more copper. Apparently I've found a reasonable location for a mine. Actually, just while I'm here, allow me to demonstrate the mining uses of the Wand of Interior Design. If we right-click, it will try and take up any block that's also connected to it, so we can pick up a bunch of stuff at once. Which is handy. It's very handy if you're trying to, like, mine obsidian, because it will go lightning quick. I'll finish up clearing this later, I think. But yeah, meanwhile, to kind of just keep myself from freezing to death, it's like I'm a little over 1.5 meters or so away from my heater at the moment. I'm freezing. But, fortunately for me, I have an old friend with me. That old friend has been with me for most of my life, one form or another, and as to my knowledge, I think also was owned by my mum for a fair bit. Oop, that must be one of the ghosts dying. Are you going to be mean as well? Nope, you're just gonna be giant and creepy. Good to know. Yeah, I shifted the ender chests out from here because I was just too tired of things coming in and exploding that way. Is there anything I can use in here? Not really. Pain. Oh well, I don't really want to hop back anyways. But yeah, that little guy is, well, I'll say little. He is Piggy, my hot water bottle. I've had him for absolute ages. I'm pretty sure he was previously owned by my mum. And he is aging in quite a few notable locations, but he is a pig-shaped... Parts of him look like he was made from like a sofa cushion or something. A pig-shaped hot water bottle cover, strictly speaking. His actual original cover has been replaced. His actual original bottle has been replaced quite a few times by now. But he's lovely and cuddly, and he keeps me warm. So he's just sat here on my lap and enjoying the attention and the video making process. That accent went so many different ways. Wow. I'm not generally good at accents unless they're done for comedy value, but that was pretty bad. Let's see, this definitely needs to be a flat wall. I kind of feel like it needs to go one more in basically every other direction. But it's now just passing about 22-23 minutes here, so I shall bid you all adieu, and we shall see what becomes of our tree crossbreeding at a later date. Has this actually bred at all? No, it doesn't look like they've actually gone out yet. Oh, because you haven't detected flowers. Ah. Yeah, it must have come to its senses at some point. Well, I'll fix that, and we shall see next time exactly what's been going on. So, with that in mind, I shall bid you all adieu. So, from Bedmon Inc, catch you next time, everyone.